Hello, friends, and thank you as always for visiting the Legend Sports Universe YouTube channel, Legend Sports Universe, where legends play forever. This is the Franchise Stars Football League preseason tournament, the AFC semifinal between the Kansas City Chiefs and the, for now, Las Vegas Raiders. Once the FSFL actually launches its regular season, the Raiders will move to Oakland, but I can't move anybody until the actual franchise mode is in effect. So this is just in play now mode in Madden 24. This is the mod I will be releasing shortly before the Super Bowl. As the FSFL gets underway, the Kansas City Chiefs will in fact be led by Andy Reid. John Madden is the coach of the Raiders, although that is not him. That's obviously Josh McDaniels. But once I get into franchise mode, I'll try to see if I can make a coach that looks remotely like John Madden. But teams have the proper game plans. Playbooks I am developing based on data from the Action PC game. Excellent game for the PC. If you are a football fan, be sure to check that out from Dave Cook Sports. But right now, the Raiders will kick off for the Chiefs. Again, I've detailed this project a bit previously, so I won't deal with too much of that in this. This will be more of a straight game broadcast, although I will be happy to answer any questions anybody might have about the project. Raiders kicking off. I do have to start the game in this mode for the custom playbooks to take. I have to kind of call the first couple plays, the kickoff and the first play from scrimmage. As McCole Hardman downs it, and Steve DeBerg and the Chiefs will start things off. DeBerg is the question mark with this Chiefs team. They've got a pretty loaded roster otherwise, but they drew Steve DeBerg as their starting quarterback for year one. DeBerg answered those critics with a fantastic performance in the opening round victory over the Miami Dolphins. So we run the first play. I pretty much always do a run on the first play just to go and call that and get through it. And then I can stop it. Here's a handoff to Priest Holmes. Holmes up the middle. Bowls his way forward, is brought down. And it looks like Howie Long went down a little bit awkwardly there for the Raiders. That could be a problem for them. We'll keep an eye on that situation. So now we can move the controllers to the middle and watch the rest of this game from the standard broadcast view. Howie Long goes off in a bit of disgust, but he's not going back down the tunnel, so got to think that Long will come back into this game at some point. So 2nd and 3 for the Chiefs from their 32. Play action up the middle. Phil Villapiano blitzes, and down goes Steve DeBerg. So Villapiano gets the call to blitz right away, and DeBerg tastes the turf early. 3rd and 10 back from the 25. The gong rings here for the Raiders. Shotgun. Play action, all the protection in the world. DeBerg down the left sideline, complete. Beautiful catch along the sideline by Carlos Carson. Right tackle Mitchell Schwartz calling for the medical staff, though. So Schwartz is going to come out of this game. So both teams, a couple of injuries early on. Out to be lost, though, overshadowed by Schwartz coming out of the game. A terrific pass there from DeBerg to Carson. DeBerg all the time in the world on the play following the Villapiano sack. And the Chiefs will be out at the 49. DeBerg in the shotgun. Play action there. Holmes picks up the blitzer. Nice job by Priest Holmes. And DeBerg with the pass there finds Chris Burford down to the 23. So the Chiefs moving the ball well here on these last couple of plays. A pair of good strikes to the left-hand side. Nice leaping grab by Chris Burford. Part of the 60s, early 70s Chiefs. I think if I remember right, Burford might go back to the Dallas Texans days for the Chiefs. Handoff, Priest Holmes gets the carry, tries to cut it back. The hole closes up quickly, and Holmes is brought down. Pickup of a yard. That'll be it for him. To the 23. It'll be 2nd and 9. DeBerg in the shotgun. Drops back. Pass over the middle is complete. down inside the 20. So DeBerg has completed his first 3 passes. Again, lots of concern about DeBerg as the Chiefs quarterback coming into this league. But DeBerg played a terrific game against the Dolphins, and he's off to a fine start here. Drops back, looks to the left-hand side, complete. I believe that's Al Dixon. There's a flag down on the play, however, and it's going to be a personal foul, roughing the passer. So DeBerg gets planted by Chester McLaughlin after the play.
Automatic first down.
Not that the Raiders have ever been above a late shot at the quarterback. So now it'll be 1st and goal for the 5. Handoff. Kimball Anders up the middle, and he's in. It's a touchdown for the Chiefs, who go right down the field on their opening drive to take a quick lead over the Raiders. That started out about as well as the Chiefs could possibly have asked for it. In the words of Hank Stram, matriculating the ball down the field, Kimball Anders rumbles in. And the Chiefs take an early lead here, 12-16 left in the opening quarter. Harrison Butker comes on for the extra point, and it's good. 7 plays, 68 yards, and 244. Fine start for Kansas City. Now the Raiders will get their crack. Doki Williams back deep to receive for the Raiders. Here's the kickoff. Taken inside the goal line. Out across the 15. Brought down around the 20. There's the snake, Ken Stabler, getting things going for the Raiders. We're still going to call them Oakland, even though they're playing in Vegas at the moment. Again, they will move to Oakland once the actual franchise mode begins. This is just a preseason tournament to kind of do a little play testing on the project, get people a little familiar with the process, etc. Regular season will start sometime in the beginning of February, sometime before the Super Bowl arrives. So Stabler under center for the first snap of the game. It's a handoff. Marcus Allen. Allen cuts it off tackle, gets out across the 25 before he's taken down. Pickup of 6 for Marcus Allen. Gary Spanny on the tackle. It's 2nd and 4 from the 25. These figure to be 2 of the best teams in the AFC when the FSFL gets launched. The New England Patriots as well. The Patriots play the Chargers in the other semifinal matchup. It's another handoff to Marcus Allen, and Allen bounces off one tackler out across the 35 to about the 40. Nice run from Marcus Allen. 2 carries, 21 yards on his first pair of rushes. And the Raiders looking to answer the Chiefs' strong opening drive with one of their own. Handoff. Up the middle, that's Charlie Smith. Smith spins out of a tackle and across midfield. So Charlie Smith gets his first carry of the game for the Raiders. Marcus Allen gets the bulk of the load here. But Charlie Smith gets an early carry and makes the most of it. Madden's Raiders are going to largely run the ball. They will throw it certainly a bit. Ken Stabler, talented quarterback, as you all well know. I assume if you're tuning in, you are a football fan. Jerry Mays with the stop there. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 48. Stabler rolls right. Under pressure. Fires. Complete. Nice grab. Marvin Fernandez. He's driven out by Albert Lewis. But down inside the 30 to the 28, and the Raiders are marching their way down the field here on their opening drive. Good job by Stabler rolling right and getting that pass unloaded. You see William Lanier with the very old school face mask. Stabler drops back. Under pressure. And he's going down. Stabler is brought down there. Second sack for the Chiefs. Wilbur Young brings Stabler to the grass. Out past the 40. So now it'll be 2nd and 20 from the 38. The Raiders drew kicker Chris Barr for their first season. Barr, accurate but not a great leg. So they're getting to the end of his rope here. Marcus Allen, not much there for him. It'll be 3rd and 20. Raiders are going to try to take a couple of shots to make up all that yardage. But Allen is denied on his attempt to get a chunk. 3rd and 20 from the 38. Stabler. Short drop, and Stabler basically took a step back. I'm not sure what happened there with Ken Stabler. There wasn't much of a drop there. I guess he was trying to stay, making sure that he didn't get out of field goal range. But instead, he stayed right in the grasp of Dontari Poe. And Marquette King will come on to punt for the Raiders. So what started out looking like a very promising drive fizzles out in a hurry. For the Raiders and the Chiefs, not a well-angled punt there from King. Chiefs will take over from their 22-yard line. 7:26 left here in the opening quarter. It's 7-0 Kansas City. DeBerg over the middle, intercepted. Dan Connors picks it off at the 30. Brings it back. He's brought down at the 22, but it's an interception for Raiders middle linebacker Dan Connors, and that's the kind of mistake that the critics of Steve DeBerg were worried about. He just completely lost track of Connors, thought he had Carlos Carson on the cross, and Connors picks it off, and the Raiders with terrific field position here. It will start off from the Chiefs' 22-yard line. First turnover of the game. Stabler, handoff. Marcus Allen tries to get outside. Shakes one tackler, can't shake the second. Chris Jones wrestles him down. Loss of 2 on the play there. Allen and Jerry Mays exchange pleasantries. I don't imagine there will be many pleasantries between these two teams as this game goes forward. Play action, Stabler. Plenty of time, swings it right to Charlie Smith, but there's not much doing there. It's complete, but it doesn't get anywhere. They'll call it a yard, down to the 24. 3rd and 12 for the Raiders. Time ticking down close to the 6-minute mark here in the opening quarter. Stabler in the shotgun. Rolls, and Stabler drops way too far back, and Mel Branch brings him down. That is 2 questionable sacks for Ken Stabler. Dropping back, holding on to that ball a bit too long. You cannot do that against this Chiefs squad. Their secondary is very good. They're going to pick up coverage sacks. As has been discussed previously, there are too many sacks in Madden CPU versus CPU games. I've been able to tone that down a bit. Still be wrestling with it to a degree. The one positive I found is I launched franchise mode and sim to season with the teams I have done so far. There's 21 teams done so far. And 2 more teams' defenses will be done in the next couple of days as we near completion. And the sack numbers in sim games are right where they should be. Your league leader comes in around 16 sacks. So that the sim stats are coming out good is big. If the sim stats were getting completely out of whack, then I would have a real problem. But if it's just going to be in the few games that I'm going to broadcast each week, that I can deal with. That's going to be 3 games, probably 2 or 3 games for each week on the schedule. So if the sim stats for the sacks look okay there, I'll be able to accept within reason if the sack numbers are a little bit high in these games that I do the broadcast for. Dwayne Marks, YouTube Network, joins us. How are you, Dwayne? Good to see you, buddy. Hope all is well with you, sir. If you are a baseball fan, please be sure to check out Dwayne's channel, although I guess, well, right now Dwayne has a World Series project going on and out of the park, but go check out his 1961 dual replay on his channel, the 61 Yankees and the 61 Braves. You've got plenty of broadcasts to catch up on, as Dwayne did both of those full seasons. Schooner 007 joined us. How are you, buddy? Thank you for coming in. A disappointing start so far for the Raiders. And a drive snuffed out. 2 drives, actually, were snuffed out by bad sacks taken by Stabler. The Chiefs marched right down the field on their opening drive. And after the first Raiders drive fizzled out, they picked off Steve DeBerg, had great field position, and did nothing with it. Second and 6 for the Chiefs from their 31. Other than the sack totals, I am really, really happy with how all the numbers are playing out. DeBerg finds Carlos Carson on the right side. I've been able to tone the sacks down a little bit, but your teams with multiple really good pass rushers are still going to accumulate on the high end of where I want things to be. It's a Legends League. I'm figuring if you're not going to have just a couple of sacks a game, I'm figuring teams between 3 and 6, I can deal with that. But we had a couple of, when this first started, we're having a couple of teams getting a double-digit sacks, and that's a little bit silly. It can happen occasionally, obviously, but I think the NFL record is 12. So you don't want to be having teams pushing 10 sacks on a regular basis. But again, seeing that the sim stats when I fast sim the season looked good was a huge, huge positive. I did that earlier on today. Good carry there by Priest Holmes, who's averaging 5 yards per carry, his first 5 carries of this game. After the 44s, we're inside 2 minutes left in the opening quarter. Doug Hunt is in the house. How are you, Doug? Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for coming by. DeBerg in the shotgun. Swings it to the right-hand side. It's complete. Travis Kelce with the reception. So DeBerg has completed 7 of his first 9. Nnamdi Asomugha with the tackle. Yes, of course, Scott Norwood. Norwood is now going to get brought up again because of the missed field goal again yesterday. Pressure from the outside, and down goes DeBerg. Van McElroy with the safety blitz brings down DeBerg. Let me see. So Dwayne, sorry, this is not a good question. What's the difference between simming this season and what you're doing when the game coach? I mean, like the quick sim. So like, it's basically the equivalent of like when I fast sim a week. When I do that game of the week broadcast for the Franchise Stars Baseball League, I'm not controlling anybody there either. So I'm just broadcasting the one game, but I'm simming all the other games. Just the quick sim method that the game uses in the background. But like when you sim the games for the teams that you're not playing in your 1961 sim, it's that same kind of thing. So obviously, most of the games in a league are going to be sim. I'm not going to play out every single game in the schedule. It'll take me an eternity to get through it. So seeing that when the game simmed it all out in its quick sim method, that your sack leader was around 15, 16, which is where he should be. that lets me know that, all right, so this is basically acknowledged by EA. That, because people have complained about CPU versus CPU for a while in Madden, and EA is like, look, it's not really what the game is designed for, which is fair. I know that, but there is a good number of people who use Madden in CPU mode and don't want to play the games and just kind of watch them. I mean, they're not all, creating leagues like I do. As the first quarter comes to a close, Chiefs with a 7-0 lead here in this AFC semifinal. But I always say in developing a project, you start out and you rate for the sim games, not the play games. And then you use sliders and tweak for the played games, because the played games are really the minority of the games that are going to occur in the league. So you want to make sure that the sim games are yielding appropriate results, and then you can kind of adjust from there. And that's just been, my opinion in, doing roster stuff for 20 plus years or whatnot. Stabler gets the pass off, but is hit again. Chris Jones breaks through, and tell you, the Chiefs just have a lot of people who can get to the quarterback. This Raiders offensive line is great. The Raiders got a great draw. They have Upshaw, they have Art Shell, they have which I always forget which one of the Ottos. Jim Otto, I think, is the offensive lineman. Oh, good punt. McCole Hardman gets to the outside. McCole Hardman might be gone. Hardman down the sideline on the punt return. It's a touchdown for McCole Hardman, and the Chiefs extend the lead on the big punt return from McCole Hardman. And pending the extra point from Harrison Butker, the Chiefs will take a 14-0 lead here over the Raiders. Two teams evenly matched. Special teams can certainly play a key role, and it does there. Hardman, of course, in real life had that big fumble in the Chiefs-Bills game yesterday, of course, which ended up being countered by the missed field goal by the Bills. Kind of got Hardman off the hook there. But here, it's a big punt return. Butker's extra point is up and through, and the Chiefs have a 14-0 lead. So Dwayne says, so the AI is different and quick in semi compared. Well, I don't know if it's so much that the AI as the engine. So you'll see, and I guess to try to explain what I mean by that without going too far off the tangent from the broadcast. So you'll see some of the quarterback animations, I feel like, is what leads to a lot of the sacks. So when you're just doing the quick sim, those things aren't causing that. The animations don't disrupt things. So like the quarterback dropping back like 10 yards while he's waiting for somebody to get open and stuff like that, that doesn't come up in a quick sim game. So anything that's animation delay caused isn't going to come up in the quick sim games. So again, my plan for each week when I get the regular season started for this project is probably going to be, I'm going to pick like 3 games per week on the schedule, and I'll broadcast those, and the rest are going to be quick sim. So, if you're figuring that 16 games a week, I'm doing 3 of them. What are you at? You're at 80% of the games are going to get quick sim over the course of a season. Which again is how it is in the baseball games and all that kind of stuff. It's like for you, with the 60 again, that 61 sim. So you played every game that the Braves and the Yankees were involved in, but any game involving the other teams, you just went through a quick sim. Well, if the played game stats were good for your Braves and Yankees games, but all the other stats were completely out of whack, your sim kind of would have ended up being useless, because the bulk of the games in the league are quick sim. So it's the exact same premise. It's the exact same premise here. Our good friend Tim, Clee baseball fan, joins us. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Raiders need to get something going here. They had 2 drives in the first quarter that both ended up petering out, and Stabler is almost picked off there. Fine coverage by Albert Lewis. And the Raiders are going to have to punt. Stabler looking for James Jett. This Chiefs team is really, really good. I think the Raiders are going to be good too, but the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs and the Patriots are the top two teams from the teams I've done so far in the AFC. A couple of sleeper teams in the AFC from the second batch of 16, the Colts and the Titans/Oilers. I think both got really good draws and have really solid rosters. The Colts have a lot of their old 60s defenders when their defense was really, really good. Burt Jones, Priest Holmes there fights off the first tackler, strong stiff arm, but Lester Hayes brings him down. It's a pickup of 3. 2nd and 7 from the 28. Raiders know this is a big drive. In the NFC, I still think the 49ers are the best team in the NFC. Again, for the same reason I like the Chiefs so much in the AFC, just a lot of balance. There's, obviously some great guys, but there's they have good guys at every level. So, like, there are some teams that have a really good defensive line, but maybe not a good linebacking group and stuff like that. And, or could have good skill players on offense, but a weak offensive line. Or a weak quarterback, even. As Tyreek Hill breaks a tackle, and Hill almost goes to the races. The Berg hits Hill. He broke one tackle, and Nnamdi Asomugha is able to wrestle Tyreek Hill to the ground before he can turn on the afterburners. But the Chiefs in danger of turning this one into a rout early. Lester Hayes misses the tackle on Hill there. Down to the Raiders 35. But sorry, I think I got a little bit sidetracked there. But I still think the 49ers are the best team in the NFC. The Cowboys, despite getting upset by the Eagles, I think the Cowboys are still got a very good draw. The Cowboys are going to be good there. I think the Saints got a good draw, and I think the Rams got a really good draw. And the Vikings defense is really, really good. Their front four is just savage. So I think the Vikings will be in the hunt in the NFC too. Fake handoff to Podolak, swings it wide to Kelsey, not much there. So the Berg has been economical. They do have the big gain. He actually had a big, long strike to Carlos Carson early, and then that 35-yard strike to Tyreek Hill there. But Andy Reid is not asking Steve DeBerg to do anything crazy. He's just asking him to manage this game. He has thrown a pick. Dan Connors picked him off earlier. But the Chiefs in danger of making this a very, very long uphill climb for the Raiders. Dumps it off there to Priest Holmes. First down to the 13. Down inside the 9-minute mark in the first half. Doug notes the Purple People Eaters. Yes, absolutely. DeBerg in the shotgun. He's got 4 wide. Empty backfield. DeBerg tries to go for a quarterback draw there. And that's one of the things that it's not going to be frequent, but it is going to happen. So because Andy Reid is a current coach, and they have and that's who the Chiefs drew as their coach for year 1. So we just used the Chiefs playbook under Andy Reid. Well, Steve DeBerg is not Pat Mahomes. So asking Steve DeBerg to move like Pat Mahomes moves isn't necessarily a perfect fit. But they haven't had him trying to scramble a lot. Not that Mahomes scrambles a ton. But I think it'd be something like that would be more of an issue. And honestly, I'd really have to tweak it. Like if the Eagles, with Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, and they drew Nick Sirianni as their coach for year 1. If the Eagles had drawn Ron Jaworski, I probably would have had to change things a bit, because you don't want Ron Jaworski trying to run the ball like Jalen Hurts. That's just a nightmare waiting to happen. So DeBerg throws it away, sensing the pressure, and he'll be happy to settle. Perhaps not happy, but he'll be okay with the Chiefs settling for 3. Harrison Butker comes on here. 4th and 11. This will be a 31-yard attempt to try to get the Chiefs up 17-0. The snap, the kick, it's up and good, and the Chiefs are in total control here in this first half. 17-0 Kansas City. Again, the winner of this AFC preseason tournament semifinal will face the winner of the Chargers and the Patriots. Patriots took down the Steelers. Chargers outlasted the Jets. There you see Doki Williams back to receive for the Raiders. Colquitt with the kickoff. Taken from about the 2. Williams out across the 20. Out across the 25. He's brought down there. They'll spot it right at the 25. And Ken Stabler will get back to work. Again, the Raiders are going to be very run-heavy. The playbook is based on the 1976 Raiders playbook. Game plan as entered by Action PC. I basically developed a method to convert the Action PC game plans for coaches into Madden playbooks for each of these teams. So they're going to run and pass with the proper ratios and stuff like that. A process I will continue to try to hone as this project moves forward, to try to make the playbooks a little bit more detailed and a little bit more varied. But for now, I'm just trying to get the run, pass, situational stuff as good as I can in terms of, I don't want passing teams running too much and vice versa. Hand off there, and that play is blown up. Derek Thomas introduces himself to Marcus Allen with authority. It's 3rd and 8 for the Raiders. Getting inside 6 minutes left here in the first half. Chiefs trying to make a statement here. Stabler. Pass complete. First down. Good job there by Stabler. Finds Tim Brown. That's Brown's first reception of the game. It's a 12-yard pickup and a 3rd down conversion. And the Raiders are out to the 39 to move the chains. Appreciate you guys tuning in with me. I started a little bit later than I was hoping to, but that's all right. Unfortunately, work comes first. Felipe, you are right on time, sir. Thanks for coming into the chat. I appreciate it. 2nd and 5. Speaking of late, the Raiders have been late to show up to this game as well. Down 17-0, trying to get a drive going here before halftime. Handoff Marcus Allen. Tries to fight through one tackler, but the rest of the Chiefs pile on. And now it'll be 3rd and 2. Willie Lanier will get credit for the tackle at the 47. If you have not as of yet, I hope you will consider joining the Legend Sports Universe Discord. You can find the link on the master channel page here. Stabler. All sorts of protection. He's got a throw by now. That's a terrible job by EA. And Stabler throws it away finally. Great coverage by the Chiefs. And a great job by Stabler's offensive line. He had all the time in the world there and couldn't find a man open. And that'll bring up 4th and 2. Raiders are not going to take any chances here. They'll punt and try to pin the Chiefs deep. Marquette King angles it toward the sideline. That's going to be called out of bounds at the 15. Not bad, but he probably would have liked that a little bit deeper. DeBerg and the Chiefs will happily take the ball back from the 15-yard line. Still plenty of time on the clock. Both teams with all 3 timeouts. Got to figure the Chiefs will run their standard offense here. They know they can play a little bit conservatively if they want. They do have the 17-point lead. Priest Holmes, and Holmes breaks it. Priest Holmes breaks it. Chasing him down from behind. I believe that was Asamoah who finally brought him down, but Priest Holmes tears one off. Beautiful run by Priest Holmes. Down inside the 40. And that is an absolute dagger for the Raiders. You could not afford to give up a big gain there. 1st and 10, DeBerg. Swings it, complete. Chris Burford has it. Big hit there by Derek Burgess, but Burford picks up 7. His second reception of the game. It'll be 2nd and 3 from the 31. Inside 3 minutes. Shotgun. DeBerg. Short pass there, intended for Burford. Knocked down by Asamoah. Good defending there. 3rd and 3. Got a very frustrated Ken Stabler on that Raiders sideline. The Raiders have to find a way to break through. Crowd's been taken out of the game here. Chiefs score a touchdown here. The Raiders might be taken out of this game too. Short pass there, 3rd and 3 conversion. DeBerg finds Carlos Carson on the short crossing route. Chains will move. Carson's 4th reception of the game. Down to the Raiders 24. That should take us to the 2-minute warning. And it does. So 2 minutes left in the first half. 17-0 Kansas City. As they try to advance to the AFC Championship game. DeBerg, pass over the middle. Laying out is Carlos Carson, but he can't come up with it. It's incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. If you have not subscribed as of yet, I hope you will consider doing so. And if you're enjoying the broadcast and the rest of the Legend Sports universe, kindly bang that like button if you are so inclined. Franchise Stars Baseball League Year 3 will be starting up in the next couple of weeks. We'll try to get that and the Franchise Stars Football League regular season started right around the same time. And at that point, the work portion of creating projects will end, and I'll just be able to get into a steady stream of producing content once again. Doing streams and broadcasts pretty much daily for those 2 leagues. 3rd and 5, DeBerg. Looking end zone, touchdown, Tyreek Hill, and the Chiefs have blown it open. DeBerg to Tyreek Hill. And we expected this game to be a war, but right now it's a one-sided war as the Chiefs have dominated. DeBerg to Hill on the corner route beats Lester Hayes. And pending the extra point from Harrison Butker, the Chiefs are going to take a 24-0 lead. This crap wouldn't happen if the Raiders were in Oakland. 7 plays, 85 yards. On that drive for the Chiefs, started off by the big run from Priest Holmes. Again, once I'm actually in franchise mode and doing the league and not this preseason tournament, the Raiders will be placed back in Oakland. The Chargers will go to San Diego. The Rams will get put in St. Louis. I'll debate the Rams. The Rams, I don't necessarily have to move the Rams, so I probably will. The one that I can't move that I'd like to is I would like to put the Titans back in Houston as the Oilers. But because the Texans are in Houston, I don't want to put 2 teams in Houston. So what I might do is see if it'll let me. If not, I'll just play it with them in the Oilers uniforms regardless if I do a broadcast. But basically do the Tennessee Oilers like they were when they first moved to Tennessee. Because I do want them in the Oilers gear. So the Raiders take over 1:13 left in the first half, trying to get something going. Stabler throws wide, incomplete. Johnny Robinson with the coverage, and the Chiefs defense is feeling it at this point. The Raiders have been unable to get anything going. Eric Venable in the chat, how are you? I appreciate you coming by. Thanks for tuning into the broadcast. Always nice to see a face I don't think or a name I should say, I don't think I've seen yet. So thank you for that. Stabler looking down the field. Again, he's got time. Throws to the sideline, incomplete. And Stabler's been sacked a few times, but his offensive line is really giving him plenty of time. The Chiefs' coverage has just been exceptional. Johnny Robinson, Deron Cherry, Eric Berry. Yes, Dwayne. I was thinking about doing that way, putting the Rams in LA and putting the Cardinals back in St. Louis, because they do have the authentic Cardinals. They have the old Cardinals uniforms, which is nice. I'm trying to think of some of the other team ones. The Ravens will stay in Baltimore. The Colts are going to stay in Indianapolis. Again, I'm not going to put the Colts back in Baltimore because I don't want two teams in Baltimore, and I'm not going to go and move a franchise to a place where they never played. So I'm not going to go stick the Ravens somewhere that they never really played. That I don't want to do. Yeah. So I mean that'll pretty much be the plan. Again, when I do any of the streams, for the games I broadcast, teams will be in old school uniforms, as I do with the Franchise Stars Baseball League. We love going old school when we can. 51 seconds left in the first half, and the Raiders' offense has disappointed, to say the least. The Berg to Tyreek Hill down in the Raiders' territory. Fourth reception of the game for Tyreek Hill, and the Chiefs are going to look to try to get more points on the board before halftime. So in the interest of full disclosure, as I continue to test things and tweak ratings and stuff like that, I always sim these games before I do broadcasts. And I've done 5 sims of these games, and they've all been within a touchdown. So this one, under the lights, the Raiders are wilting under the live broadcast. Pass over the middle, complete to Burford down inside the 40. Chiefs will take a timeout. 14 seconds left. Burford's third reception of the game. This Chiefs team, like I said, they're just really, really good. The Raiders are going to be formidable. But the Chiefs, if you can't rush the passer, I think the Raiders are going to do well. And the Raiders' offensive line has been great. And DeBerg, that's a free run right up the middle. Tom Keating, and that's potentially a big sack. And that seems weird to say at the end of the first half of a 24-0 game. But the Raiders absolutely could not afford to give up any more points here before halftime. And that will go and knock the Chiefs out of field goal range. They used their last timeout, 11 seconds left. Pressure from the outside. They blitz Lester Hayes around the corner. Takes a shot at the Berg, who airmails that throw out of bounds. It'll be 4th and 15. Colquitt, I would assume, will come on to punt for the Chiefs. Again, very quickly, if you are not familiar with this project. I rate all the players. Each franchise has a master pool of 130 of the best players from their history. A random generator selected 50 players from that list to be with the team for year 1. This will be a franchise career mode playout, so it's going to go on 10, 15, 20 seasons, hopefully. The remaining 80 players from that 130-player pool are all going to come into the league eventually through the rookie draft. I'm going to create draft classes. I'll upload those into the vault too. So people can play this project in Madden the way that I'm going to do it, or you'll basically have player pools that you can do a fantasy draft for, and each year there'll be a new rookie draft class for you to use as your draft class if you choose to carry things out that way, depending on how you want to play your game. Again, I've devised the rating system for all of these guys to try to get things to play in what we would consider a realistic fashion. I didn't want any stats getting completely out of whack. I wanted to kind of build it around late 80s, early 90s kind of football. And I was mentioning before the sim stats, I dropped it. I've got 21 teams completely done. All 32 offenses are done. 21 defenses are done as far as rating the players. I dropped it into franchise mode just to see how stats were going to play out. It's a little bit offensive heavy. So Felipe asked, these guys are the reserves. Well, no. So again, it's so that pool of 50 that start the franchise with it are not always going to be the best 50. So like Marcus Allen is the best rated running back for the Raiders. He made the draw. Um, but like Ricky Dudley is their starting tight end because the random draw, or I know Ethan Horton actually probably is, but because the random draw didn't select Fred Biletnikoff, for example. Um, so like the Chiefs have Steve DeBerg as their quarterback because that's the random draw selected him for year one. Len Dawson and Patrick Mahomes will eventually come to the Chiefs through eventual rookie drafts, but they're just not starting with the Chiefs now. So there's a bit of a randomness to how each franchise starts, but all the players will eventually come through in the career mode. So it's kind of a franchise best project with a twist because it's not just, a lot of the times franchise all-star projects are kind of, all right, here's our best guys and play one season with them, and that's that. And the way that I'm approaching it is that the best players in franchise history are all going to come through over the course of like 15 and 20 seasons. Handoff, there's Marcus Allen. Allen, 14 carries for 44 yards to this point. You gotta feel like the Raiders probably have to get points on this drive, even if it's just a field goal. Something to break the ice a little bit. Handoff, and Mark Van Egen's lead block there was completely irrelevant. Jerry Mays blows right through him and blows Allen up in the backfield. It'll be 3rd and 10 from the 37. Chiefs and Niners, your favorite teams in real life? Well, you'll be very happy because both of them got very, very good draws for year number one. Over the middle, there's Tim Brown on the crossing route. Stabler hits Brown for the first down. Stabler's only thrown it 10 times. The Chiefs have dominated time of possession to this point as well. And again, because of the way I'm creating the game plans based on the actual, coaches, if it's not a current coach. So like the John Madden Raiders ran the ball a lot. So the Raiders are going to be run heavy. Pitch left to Allen. Allen tries to move outside, and man, the Chiefs defense just swarms. Willie Lanier gets to him there. 3rd solo tackle for Lanier. It's a loss of 3. Marcus Allen trying desperately to create something. There you see 20 carries, 10 passes for the Raiders, but at some point, now down 24, they're going to have to throw the ball, although if you go to throw the ball, that's what happens. Chris Jones gets through, brings Stabler down. It'll be 3rd and 19. Now for the Raiders. Stabler drops back. Over the middle, incomplete. 4th and 19, and the Raiders will have to punt again. Derek Thomas and Tim Brown having a little chat there. So Felipe asked, I believe editing the coaches is a bit difficult, right? Or using a PC mod. No, this is PS5, and yes, editing the coaches, if you're talking about appearances, yes. EA is terrible about appearances. They don't give you can't morph faces at all. Like, you can't adjust the appearances. They just give you a bunch of stock faces, which sucks for players and really sucks for the coaches. Because for the coaches, they give you like 8 faces that you can use. Like 8 white guy faces and 8 black guy faces, and that's it. So like, Tom Landry was drawn as the Dallas Cowboys coach. I'm not going to be able to create a coach who looks like Tom Landry. It's just going to be an unfortunate fact of the project. Sometimes, I'm a perfectionist, but sometimes there's just things that I'm going to be limited by, and that's going to be one of them. But I can create the custom playbook, so I can have the teams play appropriately. Right. Well, that's exactly it, Felipe. Very good. Yes. Hopefully you can edit playbooks to be more resemblance of coaches' styles. That's exactly what I'm doing. I don't know if you're familiar with, for the PC, it's I guess you'd classify it as a text sim. There's a game called Action PC Football, which is terrific. The website is dksports.com, and it's they do great games. Their baseball game is great. They do a really, really good job, and they have game plans based on run percentage, pass percentage, kind of things for the real coaches throughout history. So I've taken the data from that and devised a method to turn that into playbook creation for Madden. So that's why you're seeing the Raiders here, because John Madden is supposed to be their coach. Um, why they've run the ball so much more than they've passed it. There's no team in football at this point that runs the ball more than they pass it. Um, and the EA engine by default steers to passing the ball a lot more. So me creating the playbooks is going to rectify some of that and hopefully get these teams playing more in line with how they really play. The Chiefs drew Andy Reid as their coach for year one. So since Andy Reid is already in the game, I'm just using the Andy Reid current Chiefs playbook for them. So that lessened a little bit of my workload. 2nd and 2 from the 25. Hand off there. Priest Holmes. He's now got 11 carries for 83 yards. Bulk of that was on one carry. Nnamdi Asomugha with the stop. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Chiefs from the 24. Raiders in search of answers. They have not found any to this point. Shotgun, DeBerg. Pass, complete. So on 3rd and 1, they go for the pass, and it works. Chris Burford down inside the 5. Howie Long just muttering to nobody in particular, as frustration continues to come upon the Raiders. 1st and goal from the 2. Chiefs can pretty much ice this one with a touchdown here, you'd have to think. DeBerg, delayed handoff. Holmes beats the tackler and he's in. Touchdown, Priest Holmes. And the crowd here, it hurts me to say it, in Vegas is quiet, to say the least. They had him in the backfield. Holmes was able to get away. Yeah, well, the defensive playbooks, I'm probably not going to tackle defensive playbooks until the 2nd year of FSFL. I haven't really dabbled in that yet. There you see the Chiefs drive there. 7 plays, 72 yards, as they're up to a 31-0 rout of the Raiders. And the Raiders, remember, the Raiders dismantled the Denver Broncos in the previous round. But the Raiders have gotten nothing going right in this one. For what you were saying there, Felipe, as far as the defense, yeah, that's going to, I'm kind of focused more on the offenses right now. The defensive playbooks will happen later, but that's going to be a time-consuming process. I think that's going to actually be harder than the offensive playbooks. So right now, there's a base defense called Multiple D, which kind of combines 4-3 and 3-4 together and all that. That's what I'm using for all of these teams for now. And then, once I get to the opportunity where I can test the defensive stuff a bit more, I'll worry about customizing defensive playbooks for the team. But I do want to get this project rolling just because I don't want to go. I love doing this, and I put a ton of work into doing it, but I don't want to get to a stage where I'm feeling burnout on the work aspect of it. So the defensive playbooks are kind of what I'm going to make that kind of my focus for year 2 of the project. And kind of every team is going to, because the multi-D playbook is big and it gives you a little bit more varied things you can do with varied personnel because of the way the rosters are built. So if you got a situation like the Bears, right? So the Bears didn't have a great draw, but the Bears did draw Mike Singletary and Dick Butkus. If you're only going to have one middle linebacker, so now you're either going to have to play one of them at the outside, or you're going to play a 3-4 defense and play Butkus and Singletary as your two inside linebackers. Using the multiple defense playbook, the Bears now have the option. If they set up in a 4-3, they're going to play Butkus on the outside. But if they set up in a 3-4, they're going to set Butkus up as the other middle linebacker with Singletary. Pass there intended for Tim Brown, but Johnny Robinson is all over him. Just terrific defense by the Chiefs, who continue to just absolutely dominate. MV, my friend, it is great to see you, buddy. But the Raiders could have used you here from the start because they have laid an absolute egg in this game. Certainly lots of credit to the Chiefs, who have played great, but the Raiders have been terrible here. Nothing doing on offense. Pass over the middle there, complete to Mervin Fernandez near the marker at midfield. The Raiders had 2 drives deep into Kansas City territory in the first quarter. They gave up sacks that knocked them out of both of them. And they really haven't threatened since. Again, the Raiders dismantled the Broncos in the previous game. I thought this game was going to be a war. And like I mentioned this a little bit ago in the stream, I always test things before I play them out and broadcast them, as I've been going through more and more ratings, tweaks, and adjustments and stuff like that. So I simmed this game out and played this game out like offline, like 4 or 5, I think it was like 5 times. And all 5 of those games were within a touchdown of each other. And so this is a surprise result to me. I do think the Chiefs are a bit better than the Raiders, but I was not seeing 31-0 happening by any stretch. Third and 7. But I still say it's because they're playing in Vegas. Once I'm actually in franchise mode and I can relocate them to Oakland where they belong, the Raiders will start playing like the Raiders are supposed to play. Pass intended for Tim Brown. Deron Cherry not having anything of it. So 4th and 7 from the 46, and this has happened to the Raiders here. The drive starts to look like it might be okay, and then it just dies. Marquette King angles the punt towards the sideline. That's a good punt, out of bounds around the 10. Priest Holmes, 12 carries for 85 yards with the score. Chiefs got a big punt return from McCole Hardman for a touchdown earlier. Tyreek Hill has a score. Kimball Anders ran one in also. So Chiefs have gotten lots of contributors. Yes, Albert Lewis is playing corner and is doing a terrific job on Tim Brown in this one. Wheel route out of the backfield, and Priest Holmes makes the grab out past the 40. DeBerg hits Holmes on a dead run out to the 44. Holmes didn't have to break stride at all on that one. Eddie Anderson got caught cheating up. And Holmes ended up slipping right around the outside of him. Here's Ed Podolak. I believe that's his first carry. It goes nowhere. Second carry. He had one earlier on as well. Appreciate that, MP. Yes, Christian Okoye is in the running back pool. They did not draw him for year 1, though. But yes, Christian Okoye. I don't know if I can make Okoye's build properly in this game. I should do a separate video on the stupidity of the player models from EA here. There's a pass over the middle. Tyreek Hill down into Raiders territory. So the minute you adjust, so everybody, obviously, there's a limit to how many players you can create. Since I create every player from scratch, I'm basically overwriting current players in the game and creating everybody over them. if you adjust a physique at all, you adjust a player's weight at all, it's like he's gone on Slim Fast. He's automatic. He goes to being ripped, and so like, unless a guy's really really fat and you can bulk him up to that weight, like if I start editing a 320-pound guy with a gut and I want to make him down to a 290-pound guy, like the old defensive linemen used to be. Um, guys like Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson was a guy who I was creating and stuff like that. You adjust the weight down at all, and the guy loses all of his fat. It's like now he doesn't even resemble physically the build of the guy. It's just really, really frustrating. So like creating, like I can't give a guy like Earl Campbell. I can't give Earl Campbell's thighs. It won't let me do it unless I try to make Earl Campbell 400 pounds. And I don't want to go having like his weight impact the game in any way or anything like that. So, I mean, I've got Earl Campbell looking as good as he can look, and he's got the big shoulder pads and that kind of stuff. But, Earl Campbell's thighs were massive, like Robert Newhouse for the Cowboys, the old Cowboys fullback. Robert Newhouse's pants were two pairs of pants that were cut in half and sewn back together because his thighs were so big. Yes, Acquire Tecmo Bowl, very good. Oh man, the Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl days. So Andy Reid's squad tries to get a little tricky there. Steve DeBerg tries to slip forward. Raiders are all over that one. Third and 9 from the Raiders 20. This Raiders defense has been on the field a lot in this game. Pass there. Priest Holmes. First and goal. Matt Millen with the tackle. The Raiders are going to be good when this league starts. They just kind of have run into a buzzsaw in this one, and they have not played well. But the Raiders are formidable. I mean, Stabler is terrific. Marcus Allen. They've got Tim Brown. Their receiving core is a little light. When they didn't get Bolitnikov or Todd Christensen at tight end. But I mean, their defense is full of really good guys. They threw Howie Long. They got Chester McLaughlin. Dan Connors was an underrated linebacker. Ben Davidson, the secondary, as Lester Hayes and Nnamdi Asomugha, and a bunch of really talented guys back there too. So the Raiders are going to be fine. Kimball Anders gets popped there by Matt Millen. It'll be third and goal. Hadn't called Millen's name, and now he's made tackles on back-to-back plays. Getting inside the 12-minute mark left in the game. So again, the winner of this one, presumably the Chiefs, will take on the winner of the Chargers and Patriots for the AFC Championship. Oh my goodness, Kimball Anders gets helicoptered, but lands in the end zone and seems none the worse for wear. Big hit. They may review where Holmes landed. I think I may have just said Anders by mistake. I apologize. Priest Holmes, look at this. Pays the price but scores. And the Chiefs add to the rout. Rod Martin and Clarence Davis are both in the pool. Yes. They're not, neither one of them got the draw for year one, but they're both in the Raiders pool. Rod Martin was great. I always liked Rod Martin. And he was a guy, I collected football cards, not the same way I collected baseball cards, but I collected football cards too. And Rod Martin always seemed to be a card that I got. That was like late in Rod Martin's career. But. So Dokie Williams trying to find some motivation. Trying to fire himself up to receive this kickoff in a 38-0 rout. Hey, the Chiefs are going to be hard to stop. They have talent at every level. Offensive line, quarterback, skill positions. Quarterback. I mean, DeBerg's played great. I mean, he threw the terrible pick before, but I mean, he was great against the Dolphins, and he's been really, really good in this one. I may have to bump up the interception slider a little bit. Madden by default has it with too many interceptions. I may have overcompensated. I've seen virtually no multiple interception games from quarterbacks in these sims, so I got to keep on checking. Eric, I really appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much. Hopefully, I will see you again here in an upcoming broadcast. Stabler under pressure. Derek Thomas gets to him. He tried to get the pass off. They'll say the arm was going forward. It'll be 2nd and 10. MBS editing, did you create all the players from scratch and or edit over existing players to change skills and appearances? Yeah, no, I overwrote guys. And it's funny, when I started out doing it, I was trying to go and say like all the better players. I was trying to overwrite players with no experience in the game so that their stat record wouldn't be tainted. And I've still tried to do that a bit. Felipe, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And listen, I am all good with questions. That's why I do this. I love doing these projects. And I love talking shop. So please, anytime you're in a stream, if you've got a question about how I do things or anything like that, please feel free to ask. I love talking about it. So I appreciate you coming in and jumping on board here and checking out the project. And hopefully I've got you as a subscriber if I haven't already. And there's the interception. As soon as I say there aren't enough of them, that one is picked off. Good return. Nice tackle. Stabler is actually the one who brings him down, but Eric Berry picks off Ken Stabler. And it goes from bad to worse for the Raiders. Stabler just trying too hard there. Tried to force that one in. And Lewis and Berry were both there. Berry is the one who comes down with it. 131 total yards from scrimmage for Priest Holmes, who's had a fine game here for these Chiefs. I think I stopped midway there, MV. Yeah, so I was trying to overwrite the players with no experience. There's a ton of like rookie and practice squad guys and stuff like that who are in the game. Like if they ever were rostered, they're in, which is really cool. So I started, but it just became really, really tedious. And the fact is that football people don't follow stat history the way baseball people do. So it kind of felt like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze at that point to go trying to like shift guys and trade guys and cut this guy to free agency and bring in, a rookie with no experience on for free agency and then overwrite him and all that kind of stuff. So I really just started overwriting players. I still tried to do that where the better players were overwriting guys with less experience, but I didn't get overly crazy with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm editing everybody's appearance. I'm editing everybody's gear. The faces, EA face models look like crap. Fortunately, in football, everybody's wearing helmets. So I'm basically just trying to get a guy to look like himself with a helmet on as best as I can. Like you take Ken Stabler's helmet off here, he'll look nothing like Ken Stabler. But with the helmet on, it's like, all right, he's got a little bit of scruff and stuff like that. Yeah, he looks like Snake, sure. But I really want to get like all the gear proper. I didn't worry about sneakers because sneakers are a pain in the ass. Fumble there, loose ball, and the first thing to go right for the Raiders. Priest Holmes says he was down. He's calling for a replay there. But as of now, it's Raiders ball. Van McElroy with the tackle there. Holmes loses it. Dan Connors falls on it. We'll see if the fumble stands. Stabler's going to try to get the Raiders to run a snap here before a review can be held. Thanks, MV. I appreciate that. Yeah, like the gear, like you see there, Art Shell has like the arm tape going all the way up from the wrist to the elbows. They are going to review the fumble. I want it to look as authentic as I can. I want the appearances to look as good as I can. MV, I'm really, really hoping that Undisputed works as well as I'm hoping it's going to.
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is
All
reversed.
right, so the fumble is reversed. For a moment, the Raiders seemed like they had something going their way, but that ends up going all for naught. So the Chiefs will keep possession, 3rd and 3 from the 28. The Raiders cannot catch a break. Handoff there, blown up. Good tackle there. Matt Millen knifes through and hammers Priest Holmes. And it'll be 4th and 4. I was very active in the chat for Undisputed for a while. And, I was in the developer chat and stuff like that with those guys. And the guy, Will, who's kind of like was their main PR guy, I assume he still is. They seriously just ran a fake field goal up 38-0? That's a rivalry call right there, man. It didn't work, but man, the Raiders are going to remember that. Oh man, you wouldn't pull that crap in Oakland. I promise you that. You wouldn't get out of that stadium alive if you were the Chiefs. Fake field goal, 38-0 in the 4th. All you can do is laugh at that, man. Taking your life in your hands, you're trying to pull that in Oakland. Those psycho fans. So the Raiders start from their 30 here. Well, it's not free. It's not free. You have to pay for that Steam download, MD. But I think they have been. Yeah, it was like $29, I think, or something like that. But now you get it for whenever it upgrades. Pass down the field complete. Stabler to Mervin Fernandez down in the Chiefs' territory. Raiders just that want to break the shutout at this point, if nothing else. But one of my big things, and the thing that I worked on when I was doing the work on Fight Night Champion, again, not to get too far afield, I apologize if you're someone who's watching this broadcast and now I'm talking about a boxing game. But just answering a question there, and this game is a bit of a rout, to be fair. When I was doing the work on Fight Night Champion, my conversion, basically I developed the system to convert ratings for fighters for the title bout PC game into Fight Night Champion. And I had worked that out where I could get fighters throwing the appropriate number of punches and stuff like that. Everybody thinks, because Ray Leonard had great hand speed. Oh, Ray Leonard was throwing 100 punches around. Ray Leonard was not. He was very economical. With his punches. He would throw those fast flurries, but he would spend a lot of rounds not punching at all. So if you create a fighter like Ray Leonard, he can look like Ray Leonard, and he can do all his little moves and his bolo punch and all that kind of stuff. But if you've got Ray Leonard throwing 80 punches around, he's not fighting like Ray Leonard. And I think Undisputed is really struggling with having fighters fight in that fashion, because they're really, and they've admitted this, that their focus is on player versus player online fighting and stuff like that. So I'm worried I'm going to be a little bit limited into what I can do with Undisputed, but I will certainly give it a try because I love boxing. And if I could bring my boxing universe to life in Undisputed, that would be a hell of a lot of fun. Fourth and 4, so the Raiders are going to go for a field goal, because why the hell not? 31-yard attempt for Chris Barr, and the Raiders, at a minimum, break the shutout. So again, this is a preseason tournament. It doesn't really count for anything other than for me to get some eyes on the project and talk shop a little bit before the actual league launches in the next couple of weeks. Again, all 32 teams' offenses are done. 21 teams' defenses are entered, and I have the ratings established for the next two franchises to be completed, the Redskins and the Oilers. And the Redskins, they will end up being the Commanders in the game because you can't relocate them. They don't give me the old jerseys or anything. And I'm not going to get PC, non-PC about that or whatever like that. I don't really, I don't deal in politics here on a YouTube channel. That's not what anybody's tuning in for. Although I will say that's one I do understand the name change there, and I have no problem with the name change. But that said, because they were historically called the Redskins, if that was available to me, that's what I would call them because that's what they were. But since it's not, I'm not just going to go and be, dumb about it. And when they can't wear anything that's Redskins, still go, calling them that. It's all, that's kind of window dressing stuff. I'm not going to worry too much about that. Handoff, Priest Holmes. Lester Hayes with the tackle. It's 2nd and 5 from the 26. Inside 4 minutes left in the game. So the Chiefs will just kind of play out the string here. And then they will sit back and wait to see who wins between the Chargers and Patriots for the AFC title as the Berg is brought down there. That play fool nobody. They've run that play a couple of times, and it hasn't fooled anybody either time. I think the Patriots are a very difficult matchup for the Chargers. Next broadcast I'll do will actually be on the NFC side. The Philadelphia Eagles go into San Francisco to face the 49ers. Lester Hayes with the corner blitz brings the Berg down for the sack. You'll see 5 sacks for the Raiders, 4 for the Chiefs. Again, trying to work to bring that number down a bit. One of the things when I do start doing defensive playbooks, I feel like the game currently does too many corner and safety blitzes. So I think if I can tune that, I think 3 of the sacks in this game have been from defensive backs. So I think I'm going to tone those down a little bit. But again, I've had games with teams getting 9 and 10 sacks. I'm trying to tone it down a bit. But it is a danger of if I start tweaking and kind of bastardizing ratings too much, I run the risk of fixing the sacks issue but creating a different issue. And I don't want to do that. Again, when I simmed through the franchise mode before, just, with it quick simming all of the games through the season, the leaderboards looked right. That the sack leader had 16 and a half. Reggie White had 16 and a half. Like, that's what I want. So if it means that the games if the bulk of the stats are going to be proper, that the sack totals are going to be a little bit high in the 3 games per week of the schedule that I play out and sim here for streaming purposes, I'll deal with that as long as the league totals are right. If the league totals were out of whack, I'd have to kind of really reconsider things. But if the sim stats are coming out good, I'll deal with a few games there. And the Raiders are going to get into the end zone. Mike Siani with the reception from Ken Stabler. I don't really think you should be celebrating like that since you're getting slaughtered. But, I know it's a stock graphic and it's what they do. I get it. Feel like they shouldn't, though. I don't feel like that would be difficult for programs. Like, hey, if a team is down by 20 points, 30 points, let's not do the celebration animation. Let's have an animation where he just gives the ball to the ref and walks off the field. I don't imagine that would be that hard, but I'll stay in my lane and just do ratings and roster development and not act like I'm a computer programmer because I'm far from that. 38-10 Chiefs on minute 51 left in the game. We'll see if the Raiders see any value in an onside kick at this point. I kind of have to imagine not, but we'll see. Yeah, the whole creation process for me is such a blast, MB. It really is. Like this is the hardest project I've ever done. But by a fair amount. There's just so much that goes into this, and I resisted, and you probably had heard me talk about this because people would ask me about when the Franchise Stars Baseball League started getting popular. And I started getting more and more people watching that. I started getting more and more requests to turn this project out from Madden, and I resisted it for months because I knew that if I started going down this wormhole, I knew it was going to be a very difficult, tedious project to complete. And it has been that. It's very involved and very time consuming. But man, when these games play out well, it is so rewarding seeing it all kind of come to life. So I'm very very excited for this project, and if it goes really well, I may end up having to reconsider the basketball and the hockey projects. I want to do those. I had fun doing those, but I'm considering just doing baseball and football um, year round, and unless the boxing thing comes to fruition. Boxing, I would definitely do. But the thing is, I want to take a few months off from the work aspect of this and project creation, and just focus on running the leagues and broadcasting the games and all that kind of stuff for a bit, because this project has been exhausting, rewarding but exhausting. So the waning moments here, they're not set up in the victory formation, so they're probably going to actually do a handoff here, which is kind of funny. Priest Holmes, 21 carries, 124 yards, and a pair of scores. Clock runs down, and that'll do it. So the Kansas City Chiefs, with pretty much a virtuoso performance here, dominate the Raiders. 38-10. Andy Reid's squad plays a virtually perfect game. And now they will await the Chargers or the Patriots for the AFC Championship in this preseason tournament for the upcoming Franchise Stars Football League project. I can't wait to put the Raiders in Oakland where they belong. I'm just saying. Steve DeBerg was great. I mean, he's not making a lot of high-risk passes, but his guys are breaking free, and he's played well. Both games, Steve DeBerg has played well. He may just, again, he's got a nice assortment of weapons around him, and he may just fit Andy Reid's playbook. May be a good fit for him. We'll see. Ken Stabler had a bit of a rough day at the office here, but Ken Stabler will be fine. We're not worried too much about that. Livingston came in for a play, completed a pass. Stabler 11 of 24, touchdown and a pick. DeBerg 29 of 36, a touchdown and a pick. Marcus Allen held to 58 yards on 23 carries. Chiefs defense was just so good. Both ends of the ball. But if you take a look at the team stats, where's time of possession? 34-25. I actually thought it was going to be even bigger than that. Each team only turned the ball over once. Once you add the return yards into the mix, over 600 yards. But total offense, 478 for the Chiefs. They just got it 26 first downs to 13. That is the script for a 38-10 route. Scoring summary, Kimball Anders, McCole Hardman. That punt return really turned the game, because the Raiders had threatened a couple of times. KC scored on their opening drive. The Raiders threatened, got knocked out of field goal range, and had a punt. Then they picked off the bird inside the Chiefs' 25 and came up empty again. And then the next time they got it, they punted it, and McCole Hardman brought it 75 yards for the score. And so after 2 chances of threatening to tie the game, suddenly the Raiders were down 14-0, and they just never got anything going after that point. The late touchdown to Mike Siani, irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. So greatly appreciate you guys tuning in here. Good friend MV was here. Felipe was here. That Eric was our other new person. That was great to see. Always like seeing new people come in. Greatly, greatly appreciate it, especially when they get involved in the chat. Dwayne Marks YouTube Network. Streaming Demon was here as well. Doug Hunt was here. Clee Baseball fan. Our good friend Tim in the house. Scooney007 was here as well. Check out those wonderful channels. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Again, I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or Wednesday, but I will have the Eagles and 49ers NFC semifinal game. And then after that, then we'll do Chargers Patriots, and then Lions and Packers is the 4th semifinal game, and that'll kind of get us down the home stretch of getting this preseason tournament completed, and I'll be in the home stretch of getting the roster completed as well. Again, the goal is to get, setting the end of January was a little bit over ambitious. I'm going to creep into February, but I do want to get this project started. Probably my hope is to get it started in the week before the Super Bowl. That's the goal. And so I will try to hit that. But again, like and subscribe if you have not. Join the Discord. You can find the Discord link on the main channel page as well. I give a little bit more minutia, little project updates and stuff like that on there as I'm trying to get the Discord growing. I love talking shop. I'll take questions there and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you'll jump on board with that. Until next time, guys, be good to each other, and we'll talk soon. The Kansas City Chiefs take down the Raiders.